Chapter 81. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The man told them everything he knew in detail under the questioning of other residents. He also told them Yan Shu's general appearance and figure. I know that beauty too. When Su Cheng was still here, he told me about it. He saw the woman with long legs enter Luo Tian's house, but at this time, another resident spoke up. Yan Shu is beautiful and has a hot body. These LSPs will never forget her after seeing her once. Damn, Luo Tian is so lucky. He even got another beautiful woman. This bastard, it's not a big deal that he has so much food, but all the beauties throw themselves at him. Damn, he has so much food at home, not to mention sharing some with the neighbors, but spending it all on women. He is such a piece of shit. At this time, the residents couldn't help but curse indignantly. They couldn't help but feel a lot of hatred towards Luo Tian. They were starving and freezing every day, but Luo Tian was living a happy life at home. Now he got another beautiful woman home. How could they not envy and be jealous of such a fairy-like life? After all, they all lived so miserably. Besides, Deng Tu and his gang of villains are all dead now, so they don't have to flatter each other anymore. Wait, you said that the beauty entered Luo Tian's house. So where did the food she came out of the 18th floor with go? A resident screamed. As soon as this was said, the other residents also stopped criticizing and stood there in a daze. Right. Where could the food go in the end? Could it be that it all went into Luo Tian's house? I know, Deng Tu and his friends were killed. Maybe it was a revenge killing. After all, there have been rumors that Deng Tu has always been at odds with a boss in the community. The resident who said he saw Yan Shu said excitedly, as if he thought he had guessed the truth. Those people in Building 10 didn't know that Deng Tu and his friends had robbed Aunt Wang and Dong Yan's food, so they didn't search them carefully after killing them, and left in a hurry. But that beautiful woman found out that Deng Tu and his friends were killed before us, so she searched out the food in Deng Tu's house and moved it all to Luo Tian's house. The resident spitted wildly. Feeling like Sherlock Holmes in the world, he had seen Yan Shu carrying a pile of food out of the 18th floor before, and thought that the other party was following Deng Tu's orders. He was so scared that he didn't dare to look at him anymore and turned around and ran away. Now think about it, I really missed a fortune. Damn, what you said makes sense. It's well reasoned and convincing. So our food is all cheap for Luo Tian. In this case, most of the residents have no opinions. After hearing the other party's analysis, they all blindly obeyed the other party's words. It may also be that the envy and hatred of Luo Tian in their hearts made them believe it subconsciously. After all, everyone was extremely short of supplies. This damn Luo Tian, he already has a lot of food at home, and it's fine if he doesn't share it with us, but now he has taken away the food that belongs to us. No, he must give us an explanation today. Zheng Wen stood up and cursed loudly with gritted teeth. His words with ulterior motives successfully ignited the jealousy in the hearts of other residents. That's right, he must give an explanation. Luo Tian is a shameless villain. Let's go together and make him hand over all the food. Hand it over. The residents gnashed their teeth and shouted, and the corridor was in a mess for a while, filled with condemnation of Luo Tian. Before, when facing Deng Tu's group of villains who smashed the neighbors' doors, killed people and robbed supplies, these residents hid at home like ostriches, and dared not go out. But now, without credible evidence, they just wanted to rush to Luo Tian's house and make him give an explanation based on a guess. Because the residents felt that Luo Tian had been hiding at home, even if they went to cause trouble, the other party could not do anything to them. Luo Tian was not as cruel as Deng Tu. It can only be said that people's hearts are sinister. Well, I think it's a bit risky for us to go find Luo Tian, a young man said with some concern. Although they were now numerous, with more than 20 people, Luo Tian was able to repel Deng Tu's attack several times by himself. No one would believe that the other party had no tricks. Many people showed hesitation, and Zheng Wen in the crowd stood up again and said, "What are you afraid of? No matter how powerful he is, can he fight more than 20 of us alone? Even if Deng Tu and the others are alive, they will have to roll away in disgrace when they see that we have so many people." Hearing this, the residents felt a surge of pride in their hearts, and everyone was extremely excited. Yes. There are so many of us, but Luo Tian is only one person. What can he use to fight us? Does he really think he is a Superman? Don't forget, everyone, Luo Tian's family has a lot of food stored. I think he must have a super freezer at home, otherwise how could he have barbecue every day? Seeing that his words had an effect, Zhengwen decided to continue to add fuel to the fire and said, and Luo Tian's family not only has barbecue, but also a group of beautiful goddesses. Not to mention anything else, just the big star Baya. I want to ask, who in your life can get in touch with her? Delicious barbecue. A goddess with long breasts, long legs and a nice butt. As long as they can get in, they can enjoy everything. Eating barbecue while enjoying the goddess's service, isn't this a paradise-like life? Get in. Get in. Kill Luo Tian, that bastard. I want to eat barbecue, I want to enjoy the goddess. He must pay the price today. I don't know whether it's because of lust or greed, but a group of residents are jealous and crazy. It seems that they see countless barbecues and several goddesses with white jade bodies lying naked on the big bed and letting them take them. Hee, Luo Tian, I wonder how long you can be arrogant. Zhengwen couldn't help but sneer in his heart. He has always been secretly jealous of Luo Tian, who can eat barbecue and play with goddesses at home after the extreme cold blizzard, especially the goddess Baya, who has always been regarded as a belief. Zhengwen was even more heartbroken after entering the other's house. Now there is such a good opportunity, how can he miss it? Luo Tian, everything you have belongs to me, Zhengwen. At this time, several residents searched the house and found more than a dozen bloody machetes, baseball bats, hammers and other weapons. They distributed them to others. With the machete in hand, follow me. Zhengwen raised the machete and yelled at them. Other residents also had red eyes and shouted greedily, kill Luo Tian, take the goddess. Eat barbecue and enjoy good wine. Chapter 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The owner rushed up with more than 20 people yelling. They shouted slogans, and many owners who were hiding at home also heard the noise, but they didn't understand what happened, so they didn't dare to come out. Zhengwen and his group also tacitly didn't inform others. There was no reason. They just simply felt that with every extra person, they would get less barbecue. Hoo-hoo, we're finally here. It's fucked up that there's no elevator. Climbing 23 floors is so tiring. A group of people sat on the ground without image, either holding the wall or holding their knees and panting. If I had known earlier, I would have saved some energy and not climbed so fast. Oh my god, look, are those marks on the wall made by Deng Tu and his men? A young man pointed at the potholes on the wall in astonishment. At this time, everyone was surprised to find that the outer wall of Luo Tian's house was full of marks of being hit by a hammer, and each crack revealed a layer of dark and solid alloy plate. Oh my god, the residents were shocked. No wonder Deng Tu's group of fierce villains couldn't do anything to Luo Tian several times. It seems that the other party has decorated his home into a steel fortress. This wall is full of alloy plates. It is estimated to be at least several dozen centimeters thick, and there is no sound when knocking on it. It's too outrageous. Such a solid wall, I guess it can't be cut open even with a cutting machine. Luo Tian is not crazy, who would decorate his own home like this. Everyone knocked on the solid alloy inner wall and said with shock on their faces, not to mention that they have more than 20 people now. Even if there are 200 more people, there is no way to deal with this iron wall. A month ago, I saw the construction team that came to Luo Tian's house. I thought it was just an ordinary renovation, but I didn't expect it to be so outrageous. A middle-aged man gritted his teeth and said, "What should we do now? The walls are so solid, and the door must have been replaced. Are we going to return empty-handed?" Someone asked dejectedly. As soon as this was said, the atmosphere suddenly became depressed, but no one would be willing to give up the goddess who was so close to them and the delicious barbecue. Fuck, although we can't get in, our voices can be transmitted in. Zhengwen's eyes turned, and a vicious plan came to his mind. He turned around and said to everyone, "There are so many of us. We will stand at the door and denounce Luo Tian. If he doesn't come out, we will greet his family. Shout as hard as we can. 10 people will take turns to scold him and hit the door with a hammer. I don't believe we can't annoy him to death. At the very least, let the other goddesses see the cowardly face of Luo Tian. Zheng Wen's idea made the owner's eyes light up. Yes. They can just shout and greet the other party's family. Maybe Luo Tian will be so anxious that he will open the door and fight them. The alloy wall can stop them from entering, but it can't stop the noise they make from entering. This trick is cruel enough. What the owners don't know is, in the living room, Luo Tian has already seen their action plan clearly through the camera. I thought only women were eels. Luo Tian picked up a cup of hot tea and shook his head with amusement, but he didn't expect it. They are even more eel-like. They were still flattering him crazily 2 days ago, but now they rushed up impatiently and wanted to kill him. Master, these guys are too hateful. Deng Tu just died, and they are thinking about the supplies in the safe house. Bai pinched his shoulders and looked at the surveillance angrily. Before, Deng Tu broke open the doors of several households, and he felt very sympathetic to them. Now it seems, Deng Tu robbed really well. Officer Yen should have delayed his action for a few days, so that the other party could kill more scums. Hee, just a bunch of garbage. Luo Tian took a sip of tea and said disdainfully, since the other party has the intention to kill and ran to the door to find trouble with him, then don't go back later, go to Huangquan together with Deng Tu and the others. Luo Tian, return the food to us. We know you stole the food from Deng Tu's family. You don't dare to move the supplies yourself, but let a woman do it. You are not a man. Those are the supplies of all the owners. You must hand them over to us. Come on, pay half of the barbecue as compensation, or this matter will not end. The owners outside the door have already started to shout through the security door. Even those holding hammers can't wait to swing their hammers and start banging on the heavy security door. I was thinking of using provocation to lure him into the trap. Damn, this broken door is really hard, it hurts my hand. Luo Tian, there is a box of instant noodles in your supplies, I order you to hand it over immediately. And me. My 2 boxes of bread and biscuits were cheated by Aunt Wang, and now you have stolen them, you must return them to me quickly. The residents shouted greedily. At this time, whether it was really cheated by Aunt Wang or snatched by Deng Tu, it was no longer important anyway. They were all trying to fish in troubled waters, hoping to get more food later. Although the owners were furious, a group of people were banging on the door and cursing, but the few people in the house were not affected at all, and they couldn't even hear the sound in the corridor. Ha ha ha, what a bunch of stupid dogs. Luo Tian couldn't help laughing as he watched the owners working hard in the surveillance video. These greedy guys definitely didn't know that he had considered all possible situations when he renovated the safe house. Therefore, the safe house has an additional function of deep noise reduction. 10-level noise reduction function is turned on. On the big screen in the living room, the housekeeper also displayed a line of big words. At this time, not to mention the barking of the dogs of the owners, even the hammer hitting the door could not be heard. The room was so quiet that Luo Tian could even hear Baiya's breathing behind him, who was massaging his shoulders. The whistling sound of the heavy snow outside the window disappeared without a trace. The high-tech smart safe house is really great. Luo Tian put down the hot tea in his hand and raised his mouth. The safe house he built integrates a bunch of world-class black technologies, and even has many military-grade functions. All the means of the opponent are nothing. This is not just an iron box. However, Luo Tian is not going to stay in the room and passively defend. There is an old saying, friends come with good wine, and jackals come with shotguns. Butler, tell me how to make a Molotov cocktail. Luo Tian stood up and said lightly, want to eat barbecue? No problem, I will satisfy you. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The butler quickly gave a plan. Good master. The main components of the Molotov cocktail are a fragile container, gasoline, and a fuse made of cloth. First, you need a glass bottle, and then fill it with gasoline. Don't fill it too full to prevent splashing when throwing. Finally, insert the fuse made of cloth into the bottle mouth. Note, both ends of the fuse must be soaked with gasoline. Very good. Luo Tian nodded and said with satisfaction, these materials are very common, and he has a lot of them in his space, so it is easy to make. It is absolutely suitable for dealing with the greedy residents in the corridor on a large scale. Outside the door, the owners were still banging on the door frantically, swearing, hoping to force him out. In the living room, Luo Tian looked very relaxed. Let's use red wine bottles as containers, they are fragile. Luo Tian took out a few empty red wine bottles, then poured about 85% of gasoline into them, and then cut a few pieces of cloth and stuffed them into the mouth of the bottle. However, the Molotov cocktail was ready, but Luo Tian wanted to make it more powerful. Add some engine oil to it, and the flame will have a higher adhesion. Luo Tian curled his lips and started to move. After adding the engine oil, he did not stop, but added some oxidizer to it. This would make it difficult for the flame to be extinguished. Finally, Luo Tian tied a small bag of aluminum powder to the body of the Molotov cocktail. Aluminum powder can make the power of the Molotov cocktail amazing, and the lethality will be even higher. Humph, I'll see if you guys will die this time, Luo Tian said with a devilish smile, throwing a Molotov cocktail with so much stuff into the crowd. The lethality is simply unimaginable. Treating the enemy, he has no habit of being soft-hearted. Being kind to them is cruel to himself. Baya, Li Ro, come here. Luo Tian waved his hand and asked the two women to hold a Molotov cocktail and a lighter each and stand beside him. After all, the group of residents in the corridor were not standing in a concentrated manner, and one Molotov cocktail might not be able to take care of them all, so Luo Tian directly made 3 generously. Baya closed her beautiful eyes at this time, and her hand holding the Molotov cocktail was shaking slightly. This is normal. She used to be a national celebrity who loved her fans, but now she has to kill people indirectly. For Baya, the psychological pressure is not small, but she did not refuse Luo Tian's order. Luo Tian caught a glimpse of her nervous look, slowly pressed the lighter, and whispered. Human desires are like rolling stones on a mountain. Once they start, they can never be stopped. Kill them without any psychological burden. After that, the fuse was lit. Luo Tian opened the slightly larger window above the security door. Luo Tian, get out quickly, don't hide at home like a mouse all the time. If you don't come out, we will keep banging on the door outside. I wonder if you can bear it. That's right, don't even think about going out in the future. Half of the residents were banging on the door, while the other half stood behind and watched others banging. At this time, the top of the security door opened. Before everyone noticed something was wrong, a lit Molotov cocktail was thrown from above. Boom! 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 And there were 3 of them. After throwing, the window on the security door closed instantly. As soon as the Molotov cocktail landed, a ball of extremely violent flames broke out, covering half of the corridor. In an instant, the corridor became a sea of fire. Ah! Some of them tore their clothes, trying to take them off, and some rolled around on the ground. The gasoline on the ground made the flames burn more vigorously. Some owners even turned into a fireman and rolled down the stairs. They realized how stupid their attack on Luo Tian's house was just before they died. Unfortunately, it was too late. Luo Tian. You will not die well. Zheng Wen fell to the ground in pain. There was no skin intact from the flames. His hair and eyebrows were all burned. Before he died, he shouted desperately, even if I become a ghost, I will not let you go. At this moment, the corridor was like purgatory. Soon, the tempting aroma of barbecue filled the air. However, because the safe house was well sealed and had advanced air filtration, the smell did not come in. Devil, Luo Tian is a devil. Yulin hid behind the door, looking at the miserable situation in the corridor through the cat's eye, and said tremblingly. Save me. Suddenly, a hideous face hit the cat's eye and screamed. Ah! In the living room, Luo Tian sat leisurely on the sofa, turning off the noise reduction and the video surveillance in the corridor. The scene was too tragic. He was afraid that Baya and Li Ro would not be able to bear it. At this time, Yan Shu, who had just finished taking a shower, was wearing a bathrobe and walked out of the bathroom with her slender white legs. Just now, did something happen? Yan Shu asked curiously. The sound insulation in the bathroom was good, and under the sound of the shower, she only heard a few words from a few people. Woo woo, Officer Yen. Baiya hugged her in her puzzled eyes and buried her head in the plumpness of her chest. Yan Shu was stunned. Good guy, you took advantage of me, right? Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After listening to Baiya's explanation, Yan Shu also understood the situation. Luo Tian actually used a Molotov cocktail to deal with them. Yan Shu was secretly shocked. She originally thought that Luo Tian accepted her just to let her deal with this kind of trouble, and would not do it himself, but she didn't expect that Luo Tian would not do it, but once he did it, he directly killed all the more than 20 people who came to the door. From this point of view, I'm afraid that even without me, Luo Tian alone can kill Deng Tu and others. Yan Shu couldn't help thinking in her heart, but she also understood that Luo Tian was determined to stay in the safe house and would not risk going out for no reason. Have you finished your shower? Luo Tian glanced at Yan Shu, his eyes sweeping over her snow-white chest and white thighs. Suddenly, her face turned red. She twisted her body involuntarily and tried to pull the short bathrobe with her hands, but unfortunately she only cared about the bottom and not the top. As she pulled, more snow-white skin was exposed. Luo Tian, can you give me some clothes? Yan Shu said with a blushing face. Among the three women present, Baiya and Li Ro were wearing clothes, but she was only wearing a bathrobe, exposing a large area of snow-white skin, which was too embarrassing. Isn't this good? Bathrobes are also a kind of clothes. Luo Tian said with a smile on his face. He had no resistance to Yan Shu's shy little woman's attitude. No. Yan Shu said in shame and anger. Her round oval face couldn't help but blush, and even her ears were red. The cold and beautiful policewoman was in front of him, showing such a shy and lovely look. Just looking at Luo Tian couldn't help but want to kill her on the spot. He directly pulled her into his arms, pulling off the bathrobe. He stretched out his hand to measure the majesty of the other's chest. Not bad, big. Soft. Elastic. After a while, the other owners finally understood what happened just now. Deng Tu seemed to be killed by the people in Building 10. And Luo Tian not only stole the food from Deng Tu's house, but also killed more than 20 people who went up to ask for food. This couldn't help but shock them. However, the family members of the more than 20 people who died were devastated at this time. They didn't expect that their husbands were killed suddenly just after leaving the door, and left them forever. At Luo Tian, you are so cruel. You actually killed your neighbor so hard. Woo woo. You accompany my husband, you accompany my husband. You killed him. At Luo Tian, do you know how many people your behavior has ruined? You must be responsible for this. Soon, the collapsed owners tagged Luo Tian crazily in the group. A group of residents who lost their loved ones and many women who became widows kept wailing in the group. Luo Tian glanced at the group message, pulled his hand out of Yan Shu's chest, and replied with a smile, responsible. I take your responsibility. They are looking for death, and they can't blame others. As soon as he appeared in person, the news in the group exploded even more. Many owners are complaining that after the people in Building 10 killed Deng Tu, you had so much food in your house, but you still stole all the supplies that originally belonged to them and brought them to your own home. Others went up to ask for supplies, but you also killed them cruelly. We are all neighbors, why don't you leave us any chance to live? Are you stupid? Luo Tian sneered at the stupid remarks of the owners. He picked up the hot tea, took a sip and said, At everyone, you said those materials were yours, why did you all pretend to be dumb when Deng Tu took them away? I didn't see anyone dare to ask for them. Looking at this message, the group was silent for a while. Ask Deng Tu for it. Who dares to go? The other party would really kill people at that time. Wouldn't it be digging your own grave to ask for it? But everyone didn't expect that Luo Tian would be more ruthless than Deng Tu. Now don't look at the anger in the owners group, but they only dare to talk in the group. If they were asked to go to Luo Tian for revenge in person, I guess no one would dare to go even if they were given 10 courage. However, after being reminded by others, Luo Tian remembered another thing: those are the more than 20 burnt bodies in the corridor, waiting to be dealt with. Although it was -70 degrees Celsius, only, there is no need to worry about the corpses rotting and stinking, but they can't be left there forever. Now Yan Shu has cleared herself, and Luo Tian doesn't want her to go out and move the corpses again. After all, Yan Shu is his woman. Thinking of this, Luo Tian didn't care about the angry owners in the group, and directly posted another message: "At everyone, I have 2 things for you to do now." The owners were furious when they saw it. "You just killed so many people, and now you have the nerve to say that you have something for us to do. Are you crazy?" Before they could reply in anger, Luo Tian's subsequent words made them hold back the beautiful words that were already on their lips. "There are a bunch of charred corpses on the 23rd floor, so we need a few cleaners to move them away. You can move them anywhere, or just throw them out of the window. The reward is 10 bags of instant noodles, and those who participate in the moving can distribute them by themselves. First come, first served." As soon as these words came out, the owners who were cursing Luo Tian just now were all stunned. 10 bags of instant noodles. Just moving the corpses can get it. It's too easy. You know, many people are running out of food at home now, and the reward issued by Luo Tian is too tempting for them. I'm strong, I can help you move it. At everyone, leave the dirty work of moving corpses to me, you can take a rest. You wish, the instant noodles are all mine, no one can snatch them from me. The owners who were just united in hatred of the enemy, now started fighting directly because of the reward of 10 bags of instant noodles. Even the residents who lost their loved ones joined the scramble at this time. Just as everyone was scrambling, many smart people had already rushed out of the door and rushed to the 23rd floor, starting to move the dead bodies on the ground first. Fuck, don't fight with me, don't you know the rule of first come first served? Get out of here. I saw it first, you should get out of here. Get out of my way, do you know whose body this is? It's my husband's. Fuck, 6. Watching the people scrambling for the body in the surveillance, Luo Tian hugged Yan Shu's slender waist, smelled the fragrance of the shower gel on the other person, and said with a playful look on his face: "What a bunch of clowns. For a few packs of instant noodles, this group of people is so ugly that they can put down their hatred and do things for themselves." However, this also shows from the side how scarce the supplies are now. Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The dead bodies were buried in the ground, and the dead bodies were buried in the ground. A group of owners worked hard to carry the dead bodies. In the extreme cold and snowstorm, these bodies would definitely not be buried in peace or receive the one-stop service of the crematorium. The residents opened the corridor windows and threw the bodies directly from the 23rd floor. During this period, Luo Tian even saw a lot of hungry residents through the surveillance screen. Looking at the charred bodies, his throat rolled unconsciously a few times. Maybe because there were people all around, they didn't dare to make any other moves. "Hey, Luo Gu, we have cleaned up all the bodies for you." Yes, can you give us the food? I am so hungry, I am relying on instant noodles to survive. A group of hungry owners stood outside the safe house and asked cautiously. At this time, their attitude was very humble, fearing that Luo Tian would not pay them if he had a thought. Well, very good. Luo Tian nodded with satisfaction. It was just 10 packs of instant noodles, he would not regret it. Besides, there might be a time to use these guys in the future, so Luo Tian threw the instant noodles out through the window very readily. Mine. This bag of instant noodles is mine. CNM, don't fight with me. Get out. I moved the most bodies, I should get the most instant noodles. The residents almost broke their heads in order to fight for the thrown instant noodles. Some people even started fighting because of the uneven distribution of the spoils. TSK, this scene is similar to the scene in the zoo when animals fight over the meat thrown out by the keeper. Luo Tian took a sip of hot tea and said leisurely, before the end of the world, the snacks that he spent 10,000 yuan to stock up in the supermarket can now be fought over by the residents. Yan Shu, whose bathrobe was wide open, also leaned against Luo Tian and tightly hugged one of his arms in her arms. This is only half a month after the arrival of the extreme cold blizzard. Food is so scarce. How are they going to survive in the future? Yan Shu couldn't help but shook her head slightly. At this time, she was even more fortunate in her heart that she had entrusted the rest of her life to Luo Tian, because as long as Luo Tian was there, whether it was food or daily necessities, they could easily enjoy it. They wouldn't fight to the death for a little food like other people. Even, they could live a more comfortable life than before the end of the world. What's wrong? My policewoman Yan, your professional nature is overflowing again. Luo Tian hugged her slender waist and reached out to touch her snow-white thigh. Yan Shu snorted softly, biting her cherry lips and said resentfully, I won't sympathize with them again. I taught her enough lessons in Xia Lan's matter. However, thinking of this, Yan Shu also shook her head reluctantly and said, Luo Tian, can human hearts really be so dark? What I saw at Xia Lan's house last time. Hearing this, Luo Tian couldn't help but smile slightly and said, human hearts have been like this since ancient times. He changed the subject and explained, but what happened in Xia Lan's family is not necessarily true. Why is that? Yan Shu raised her oval face and stared at her watery eyes in confusion. That day, she saw with her own eyes that Xia Lan's child had been. In fact, a few days before you came in, Deng Tu and his friends went to Xia Lan's house once, and they came out after a long time. Luo Tian seemed to be recalling something. If his guess was correct, Xia Lan was also a miserable person. Yan Shu's beautiful eyes widened. She didn't expect that there was another hidden story behind this. In this case, although Xia Lan deceived her and took away all their remaining food. But she was not guilty of death. Xia Lan's downstairs is a carport, and there is such a thick snow covering it. She may not fall to death. Luo Tian touched her pretty face and thought, however, all this has nothing to do with him. He doesn't care about the life and death of a mother. Outside the corridor, 10 bags of instant noodles have been snatched up, and many residents have bruises on their faces. There is even a resident who has become a national treasure. Although the bodies have been moved away, the traces left by the burning are still too ugly. Luo Tian touched his chin and said, so, he directly took out a bunch of cleaning tools from the space and threw them out, clean up the corridor, and give each person a bag of instant noodles. And have instant noodles. Okay. No problem, Luo Go, leave it to us, we promise to clean it up for you. Luo Go is generous. 1 bag of instant noodles per person, ha 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 ha. The residents were ecstatic. They picked up the cleaning tools on the ground and began to clean the stains on the ground. A bag of instant noodles can keep them going for another day. A sure win. At this time, if anyone says something bad about Luo Tian, these residents will be the first to jump out and refute the other party. Who said Luo Tian is selfish? Isn't this very generous? Anyway, we don't care, whoever gives us food is our real father. Well done. Luo Tian looked at the residents who were busy cleaning the corridor in the surveillance video and couldn't help laughing. Just a few bags of instant noodles, they can be dispatched at will, and they have no complaints. This kind of thing is so comfortable for him. Soon, the corridor was cleaned by a group of people. After receiving the instant noodles, a group of residents who had been busy for most of the day in the low temperature of minus dozens of degrees also went down happily with their rewards. And, after they went home, they did not forget to take out their mobile phones and show off their rewards to other people who did not get the quota in the group. Fuck, I'm so envious. I got 2 packs of instant noodles in such a short time. Why didn't I think of running directly to the 23rd floor just now, you old six? I'm so hungry, can you give me a piece of bread? Other owners also wailed with envy. Someone in the group was jealous before, saying that Luo Tian would definitely regret not giving those people food, but now they have been slapped in the face. However, there is only one chance, and if you don't grasp it, it will be gone. Luo Tian will not give them another chance. At Luo Tian, you are too despicable. You use the food stolen from Deng Tu's house as a reward to pay us, and use us like dogs. A resident spoke at this time. He expressed great hatred for Luo Tian's behavior of not treating everyone as human beings. The food was originally snatched from their hands. Are you an idiot? Hearing this, Luo Tian also responded disdainfully in the group. He didn't take anything from Deng Tu's house, and the food is now in Imenrong's house. I'm almost tired of eating barbecue, and I'm planning to try seafood these 2 days. Who wants to steal those bags of crappy snacks? In response to this, the residents couldn't help but collapse. Listen. Is it true? Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man was very happy. Seafood? Who would believe that? Maybe you've already finished the barbecue. Don't try to deceive us. However, the resident who spoke was very stubborn and said he didn't believe him. As soon as he sent the message, the group became quiet. It seems that other residents also think so. Luo Tian has been eating barbecue for several days, and he is probably almost finished. How could there be seafood to eat? You know, the shelf life of seafood is not long. He must be bragging. Seeing that no one was talking, the resident also became proud, as if to vent his resentment for not getting the move quota. At Luo Tian, don't lie to us, you don't have any seafood to eat. You stole the food from Deng Tu's house. In response, Luo Tian just sneered. It happened that Li Ro had finished her work. Fresh shrimp corn porridge, salmon sushi, steamed hairy crab, grilled octopus, Boston lobster, plates of fragrant seafood feasts were brought to the table one after another. You can eat now. Li Ro untied her apron and greeted gently. Wow! It smells so good. Today is a seafood feast, I can't wait. Baya shook her soft golden long hair, jumped to the dining table, and drooled at the table of delicious food. At Luo Tian, if you have seafood to eat, I will slap myself twice and take a video to send to the group. The resident saw that he didn't say anything, and sent another message. If you don't have it, give me 2 packs of instant noodles. Seeing this, Luo Tian couldn't help but laugh. The dagger is revealed, right? It seems that this guy is jumping around like this, just because he is unwilling to not grab a quota just now, and now he wants to take some food back from him. Try the steamed hairy crab from Poyang Lake today. Luo Tian took a photo directly and sent it to the group. The bright color and delicate meat of the hairy crab shocked the owners as soon as it was sent to the group. Oh my god! Luo Tian's family actually has seafood to eat. This is too luxurious. Looking at the extremely tempting hairy crabs in the photo, the residents couldn't help swallowing their saliva, and felt that the instant noodles in their hands were not fragrant at all. There are hairy crabs, I want to eat them too. Oh my god, has Luo Tian really stayed at home all the time? I suspect he goes out to buy goods every day. Don't be stupid upstairs, who can go out in such a heavy snow outside? Luo Tian must have stocked up a lot of refrigerated food in the freezer. I'm so jealous. The residents cried out in envy in the group. For the past half-month, they have been eating snacks without nutrition every day, and their lips have cracked and ulcerated. Now seeing such delicious seafood, they can't help but fantasize that if they can sit at the dining table and enjoy the tempting hairy crabs beautifully. Do you want to eat it? Luo Tian mentioned the resident just now. Brother Luo, can I eat it? The stubborn resident now changed his face and said humbly. Call me daddy and I'll give you seafood. Luo Tian sat leisurely on the chair and typed. Dad? The resident said expectantly. Eat your head. Luo Tian scolded mercilessly. What a joke, you don't really think I will recognize you as your son. You want to eat seafood just by calling me daddy, what a dream. You. The resident was scolded and almost choked with anger. Other owners also begged frantically in the group. Dad, can I call you Dad? Please give your son a taste. My son is starving. Brother Luo, Master Luo. I will be satisfied with just 1 crab leg, I can work like a cow for you. At Luo Tian, although you killed my husband, as long as you give me a hairy crab, I will forgive you immediately. Although Luo Tian had shown off barbecue in the group before, but every time someone started asking for food, there would be a bunch of people asking for food. They couldn't help but think. What if Luo Tian was in a good mood, maybe he would really reward them with some seafood. After all, he gave instant noodles to those people who moved the corpses in the afternoon. Huh, does Brother Luo need your forgiveness? It's so funny. At Luo Tian, if you give me seafood, I can bring my daughter to serve you together. At this time, another female resident spoke. Perhaps she felt that the temptation was not enough, so she added, you haven't enjoyed mother and daughter together yet. I can satisfy you. Just a seafood feast. If you want, I can also call my mother. In response to this, Luo Tian couldn't help but take a breath and said, oh my god, I'm a little tempted, what should I do? Just a few hairy crabs, he can play with mother and daughter, or even 3 generations in the same bed. You know, there are tens of thousands of hairy crabs from Poyang Lake piled up in his space. At this time, Yan Shu and the other girls who heard his words couldn't help but show a resentful expression on their faces. What does it mean? They are not attractive anymore, right? Forget it. Luo Tian shook his head, threw his phone aside, and stopped paying attention to the group messages. If this female resident and her family were as good-looking and fit as Yan Shu and the others, it would not be impossible to consider. What a pity, he had some impression of this female resident. She didn't look good, and her daughter was skinny, which was not attractive to him at all. Several people began to enjoy the seafood feast. It tastes delicious. It's delicious. After a full meal, in order to maintain their body standards, after a few hours, the 3 women came to the room converted into a gym together. Ever since Yan Shu came in, Li Ro and Bai Ye's sense of crisis has become stronger. Look. Officer Yan's perfect mermaid line, vest line, peach buttocks. Not to mention, Yan Shu also insists on exercising every day, at least 4 or 5 hours a day, all in the gym. We can't fall behind. Li Ro and Bai Ye looked at each other and thought firmly, which woman doesn't care about her body? Are you all so hard? As soon as Luo Tian came in, he saw the 3 women who were working hard and sweating. In the past half-month, he has not fallen behind in his physical training plan. From dozens of push-ups and dumbbell presses every day, he has been slowly increasing the amount of training. Even the muscle contours of the abdomen and the muscle lines of the body are clearly revealed. Luo Tian was also a little surprised by this. It stands to reason that it takes about 1 month or even 3 months for a normal person to train abdominal muscles. Luo Tian took off his coat, stood in front of the full-length mirror and looked at his perfect body, and said with some doubts. But I only took more than half a month to train it out. Don't say it, it feels pretty good. Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After taking a look at his own figure, Luo Tian couldn't help but put his eyes on the 3 women in the gym. This time, he suddenly realized that their figures were also perfectly maintained. Yan Shu, the policewoman, was doing a bench press on the barbell at this time. Her white and full chest was firmly protected by the elastic bandage, with only the white upper hemisphere exposed. Her lower abdomen was flat and tight, with obvious abdominal muscle contours, without a trace of fat. She was wearing a pair of tight shorts, and her 2 long white legs were standing on the floor. Yan Shu lifted the 100 kilograms barbell easily. Judging from her figure alone, she is undoubtedly the best and most beautiful among the few people. And Bai Ye, the national goddess, the energetic girl, at this time, she is also doing her most common exercise, yoga. Although her breasts are not the largest, her body flexibility is the strongest. For her, the splits are simply easy and not difficult. The slender waist can even be bent into an exaggerated arc to complete difficult movements. Next to Bai Ye, is Li Ro riding a bicycle. This beautiful wife is slightly dissatisfied with her plump and exaggerated figure, so she is determined to start exercising from her thighs. Among the 3 women, Li Ro has the most magnificent breasts and the most plump figure. Luo Tian likes the plump and soft touch when he hugs her. The taste is not enough to be told to outsiders. Slightly fat YYDS. They were wearing very cool clothes, and if they moved a little more, a lot of their spring scenery would be exposed. Looking at the tempting scene in front of him, who can still calm down and exercise peacefully? Luo Tian couldn't help but sigh repeatedly. The trend of lust is like a flood and a beast, which is harming me, a young man with aspirations. However, he still suppressed the desire in his heart. It just so happens that Yan Shu is here. I can ask her if my exercise results are normal. Luo Tian thought to himself, as a senior fitness enthusiast and proficient in fighting and combat, the other party must have a deeper understanding of this aspect of the human body than him. After listening to his question, Yan Shu also put the barbell on the rack, stood up and exhaled a breath of fragrance, saying, generally speaking, as long as the nutrition is up to par, combined with some abdominal training, it is feasible to train abdominal muscles in half a month. She glanced at Luo Tian's tight abdominal muscles, her pretty face blushed, and her eyes quickly moved away. So, I don't think you need to worry too much. After all, the three of them eat some top-notch food every day, and the nutrition is beyond doubt. Really? Luo Tian touched his chin and thought, but I think the changes in my body don't seem to be that simple. He felt that his needs in that aspect had increased a lot more than before. Evenly Ro, the succubus, has been taught a lesson by him recently. Even if Baiya, the golden-haired energetic girl, is added, he will not be at a disadvantage at all. Even the two opponents couldn't help begging for mercy in the end. Forget it, as long as there is no harm. Luo Tian was too lazy to think about it. It's not his style to worry about the future. After thinking about it, the pressure in his heart also disappeared, and Luo Tian felt a lot more relaxed. After being relaxed physically and mentally, he also worked out in the gym with Yan Shu, the policewoman. She not only tailored a set of fitness methods for Luo Tian, but also constantly corrected and adjusted his posture, movements, and muscle strength during his training. This made Luo Tian sigh. Yan Shu, this personal trainer, really won his heart. The quality of those paid personal trainers in the gym is not comparable to that of the other party. Even if you are tired of training, you can still appreciate the beauty's figure. Soon, a few hours passed, the two of them were sweating all over. Ha! Luo Tian exhaled lightly, feeling extremely comfortable all over. You have mastered the skills well, but you must pay attention to concentration. Yan Shu pressed against his back and corrected a mistake in his posture with her hand. The two soft lumps on her chest were also unsparingly pressed against him, allowing Luo Tian to fully feel the real material. You keep swaying in front of me, how can I concentrate? Luo Tian thought speechlessly. Touch it and see how I'm doing. Luo Tian pointed to his chest to show off 8 abdominal muscles, with clear outlines. Don't want to. Yan Shu misunderstood him, or maybe she misunderstood him. Luo Tian couldn't help but take a breath. I asked you to touch my abdominal muscles, where did you touch? Yan Shu was stunned, and her pretty face turned red. Ah. So, is that what you mean? I thought. She couldn't help blushing, and stepped back with a pair of long legs. Master, come and help Baiya press her legs. Okay. Baiya sat on the yoga mat and smiled. She was wearing an extremely short skirt at this time, which could only barely cover the base of her thighs, and even a touch of snow-white buttocks was exposed. Silky white stockings, tightly wrapped around her thighs, facing the request of his maid. Of course Luo Tian would not refuse. Why are you sweating so much, little girl? After approaching, he was surprised to find that Baiya's 2 white legs were wet with sweat. Woo, there's nothing I can do. Baiya stood up, lifted up a slender white silk leg, and placed it on the equipment beside her. The white short skirt fluttered. In an instant, Luo Tian widened his eyes and found that Baiya was actually going to battle without any underwear at this time. Okay, little girl, you can't help it again, right? He understood it then. The other party was not interested in the wine. Then, can you help Baiya? Baiya's eyes were blurred and she bit her lips lightly. She even pressed down her slender waist, raised her round buttocks, turned her head and said to him pitifully, the national goddess now shows this seductive posture. If her fans knew about this, they would go crazy. You asked for this. Luo Tian looked at the fairy-like Baiya and gritted his teeth. Fortunately, he has now trained a body of steel, otherwise he really can't subdue these annoying little fairies. Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the exercise, they went into the bathroom together and took a hot bath. In this extremely cold temperature of -70 degrees, it is estimated that only Luo Tian's family can enjoy such a luxurious life. After taking a bath for more than an hour, Luo Tian sat comfortably on the sofa in his pajamas. Master Baiya, who had already put on a maid outfit and put on silky white stockings on her thighs, called out in a tender voice. There was still a blush on her pretty face, and she hugged one of his arms lovingly and leaned against him tightly. After development, Baiya became more and more attached to him. Every time she was severely attacked, her voice like an aureole always made Luo Tian feel full of energy. Li Rou and Yan Shu also came out of the bathroom after drying their hair. Yan Shu was wearing a cosplay police uniform, with thin black silk wrapped around her thighs, faintly revealing her slender and long legs in flesh color. Seeing the police uniform on the other party, Luo Tian also suddenly remembered that there were 3 pistols in his space. Policewoman Yan, come, I'll show you something good. Luo Tian patted the sofa next to him and said to Yan Shu. In response, Yan Shu's blushing face inevitably showed a hint of doubt. She stepped out her long legs wrapped in black silk and gently sat next to Luo Tian. I don't know what the other party wants to show me. Here. Do you know what model this gun is? Luo Tian took out a dark Glock pistol from the space and pushed it in front of the other party. This was the gun he looted from the hiding place of the robbers in the bank robbery before the end of the world. There were 3 guns in the space, and he took out one of them, because he didn't know much about firearms before, and he had a crossbow as a temporary substitute. He had forgotten these 3 weapons for a while. Now with Yan Shu, a professional police officer, they finally came in handy. No longer need to be left in the space to collect dust. Gun. The moment they saw the pistol, the 3 women couldn't help but widen their beautiful eyes in shock. Baiya, who was leaning against Luo Tian, was so scared that she hugged his arms tightly. They knew that Luo Tian had an infinite space, and that the space also stored countless supplies, but they had never heard of guns being stored in it. After all, this thing is a contraband in China. Ordinary people have hardly seen it, let alone getting it. Baiya, as a big star, had never seen this killer weapon, not to mention Li Rou, a married woman, whose pretty face turned pale with fear. This is Glock 19. Yan Shu's beautiful eyes were also extremely surprised, but with her rich knowledge of firearms, she recognized its model in an instant just from the appearance of the gun body. As a police officer, she has her own gun, so, naturally, she would not be as nervous as Baiya and Li Rou who saw the real gun for the first time. Take it if you want. Seeing Yan Shu staring at the Glock on the coffee table, her eyes revealed her love, but she didn't dare to touch it without permission. He couldn't help but said with a smile. No, I still won't touch it. Yan Shu heard him say this, but still shook her head firmly. This is not like other things. As long as you gently pull the trigger, you can easily take away a life. She doesn't want Luo Tian to misunderstand anything. Don't worry, there are no bullets in the magazine. Luo Tian said with a smile. Of the 3 Glocks in the space, he specifically took the one without bullets. Hearing this, Yan Shu also picked up the pistol on the coffee table with great confidence. Glock 19 is a modified version of 17. It is smaller in size and weight, making it easier to carry concealed. The standard magazine capacity is 15 rounds. It is used as a police gun in the United States, and the police there are basically equipped with it. Yan Shu played with the gun body and explained, as a woman who chose police as her career, she naturally loves guns very much. She even won many awards in shooting competitions during her tenure. Luo Tian, where did you get this gun? Could it be? Yan Shu suddenly glared at her beautiful eyes, as if she remembered something. If I remember correctly, some time before the end of the world, the robbers used Glock pistols in the bank robbery she took over, and, after they were all arrested, the hiding place, the 3 pistols also disappeared. Only the box of US dollars left there remained untouched. Yes, I took the guns of those robbers. Luo Tian raised his mouth and admitted it directly. I still have 2 of these guns, with more than 400 bullets in total. Hearing this, Li Rou and Baiya covered their lips in astonishment. More than 400 bullets? If 1 gun per person, wouldn't it be easy to kill more than 400 people? Living in a safe house that is as solid as a rock, and having a deadly weapon like a pistol in hand, with hundreds of bullets, they really can't think of who can threaten Luo Tian. At the same time, a strong sense of security surged in their hearts. The stronger Luo Tian is, the more secure they are. Then why didn't you take it out before? Yan Shu said in surprise. If she had come in for the first time, if Luo Tian had a gun in his hand, she would have been shot dead the moment she took out the fruit knife. At the very least, she would not act rashly. Forgot. Luo Tian shrugged. After all, I am not familiar with this thing. Yan Shu relaxed her eyebrows and said softly, I can teach you. You can basically master shooting in just 3 days. So fast. I thought it would take 2 months to learn. Luo Tian was a little surprised. With Yan Shu, the police officer, he would definitely not miss this opportunity. It's not as difficult as you think. First learn the shooting theory and master the essentials of the movements. The rest is basically live ammunition practice. Yan Shu explained with a smile. Of course, this is just the initial mastery of shooting. The difference between sweeping and accurate shooting is very large. When Luo Tian and others were discussing firearms, 15th floor, room 1503, several residents with hatred on their faces gathered together. Everyone, Luo Tian killed our relatives and is now hiding in the room enjoying delicious food. Can we tolerate this? A young man with a hideous face said to others with gritted teeth. His brother was set on fire by a Molotov cocktail when he and those people went up to attack Luo Tian's house. As a result, he rolled down the stairs and died in front of him. This also led to his deep hatred for Luo Tian. And the other residents, some of whom lost their husbands, and some of whom lost their sons, also had hatred for Luo Tian in their hearts. They gathered together to find a way to get rid of Luo Tian. Then what can we do? Someone said hatefully. Luo Tian's door is so strong that no one can threaten him. Although they all wanted to kill each other, but the other party's house was like a fortress, and it was impossible to break through the iron door. If they rushed over rashly, the end would be as tragic as those who died. I have a suggestion. At this time, Wang Hongming, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who was speaking was Wang Hongming. Just now, under the temptation of food, he called Luo Tian dad in the group, but he didn't expect to be severely humiliated by the other party. Not only did he not get the food, but he also lost face in front of a group of neighbors and became a laughing stock in everyone's mouth. Wang Hongming, what good suggestions do you have? Come on. That's right, hurry up and tell me. Other residents couldn't help asking. Wang Hongming said hatefully, Luo Tian is too strong. We can't do anything to him with just a few of us. You mean, find external help? A resident seemed to understand what he meant and said in astonishment. That's right, we must find outside help. Wang Hongming gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. Don't forget, who killed Deng Tu and the others. It was the group of people in Building 10. Luo Tian hasn't been able to get rid of Deng Tu for so long, but those people in Building 10 killed them all in one go. This is the difference in strength. Hearing him say this, several other residents couldn't help but widen their eyes, and a look of surprise appeared on their faces. Yes. Deng Tu and the others are tough guys that Luo Tian can't get rid of, but they were killed by the people in Building 10. What does this mean? The people in Building 10 are even more ruthless. Anyway, Luo Tian only dared to hide at home. This time they found a whole building of people to deal with him. I guess the other party must be unable to escape. Wang Hongming, you still have a quick mind. A resident praised him. He didn't even think of asking the people in Building 10 for help. However, why would those people help us? We don't know them. Besides, we've heard that they are very brutal, and they are no less brutal than Deng Tu and his men. A female resident said with some fear. What if they let the wolf into the house? Her words also attracted the approval of others. You have also heard that they are constantly burning, killing and looting everywhere. What are they doing for? Just food and women. Wang Hongming said coldly, the rumors about building number 10 have been spread among the owners in the past few days, because many acquaintances of people in this building live in building number 10. they said that half of the building there fell into the hands of a man named Shuo Wentao. Shuo Wentao and his group of men have accumulated a lot of supplies through constant robbery and murder, and also robbed a lot of women. Every day, he takes his men to eat and drink. There are even residents who, in order to survive, took the initiative to offer their wives to the other party and became one of the other party's men. Zhuo Wentao likes women and food the most, and Luo Tian's family has both of these things. Wang Hongming stood up and looked around at everyone. If we tell the other party this news, there is no doubt that the other party will lead people to attack Luo Tian's house. Hearing this, other residents couldn't help but brighten up. The young resident who lost his brother also said excitedly, "Yes, after all, what does Luo Tian usually eat? It's barbecue and seafood. Who is the woman he plays with? The famous goddess Baiya. Such a huge temptation, no one can refuse it. The other party will definitely find a way to kill Luo Tian, and he only needs to watch the fire from the other side and watch the two sides fight to the death. But, who will notify the people in Building 10? At this time, a female resident swallowed her saliva. The atmosphere suddenly solidified, just from the rumors and pictures in the owner group. The brutality of those people in Building 10 has been deeply rooted in people's hearts. If we go to their territory without permission, what if the other party has bad intentions? After all, they have killed many people recently. Let me make it clear first, we women will not go. It is said in the group that Zhuo Wentao likes beautiful women. If we go there, we will be like sheep walking into the tiger's mouth. The words of the female resident immediately aroused the approval of several other women. This kind of thing must be done by men. After hearing this, the male owners present looked at these women for a few more times, and they couldn't help but have a few black lines on their foreheads. Damn. With the way you look, not only are your faces bumpy, but your waist is thicker than a bucket. Can people in Building 10 like you? I guess it is much safer for you to go there than for us. However, under the strong protests of the female owners, the matter finally fell to on the bodies of several other men. I don't want to. Several male owners also shirked and kept giving way to each other. It seemed that the high quality and cultivation before the end of the world had all returned at this time. In the end, the matter fell on Wang Hongming and the young resident. Slow down, be careful on the way. We are your strongest backing. Several other owners, looking at the two people who flipped out from the third floor, couldn't help but stand in the corridor to cheer them up. It's great that someone took risks for them. Fuck, a bunch of soft eggs. As soon as Wang Hongming flipped out of the window, his foot sank deeply into the snow. He couldn't help but pull out his legs with great effort and cursed. Obviously, the families of other residents were all burned to death by Luo Tian. Logically, their hatred should be much deeper than his own, but at this critical moment, they all became turtles. Brother Ming, the underground parking lot is in that direction. The young man next to him identified the direction and pointed to the east and said to him. Okay, let's go. Wang Hongming gritted his teeth. The longer you stay in the snow, the faster your body temperature will drop. If you run out of energy, it will be very dangerous. The underground parking lot is buried deep in the snow. It's a vast expanse of white. This is also normal. After all, the snow is so heavy now that the road dug out in less than a day may be covered by snow. Crack crack. Crack crack. The two of them started digging with all their strength with the shovels they carried with them. The more they dug, the deeper Wang Hongming's hatred for Luo Tian became. Wait, Luo Tian, you will pay the price for your actions sooner or later. After some digging, both of them were a little exhausted, and the entrance to the underground parking lot was finally exposed. Let's go. The two looked at each other, dropped their shovels and went in without hesitation. Soon, relying on the signs on the wall and two flashlights with low power, Wang Hongming finally came to the exit near Building 10. This place is different from the appearance of Building 9 covered by snow. Although there is a lot of snow at the exit, it is easy to dig out a passage leading to the top. It can be seen, this has been cleaned up several times. Let's go, Building 10 is here. Wang Hongming turned around and said, but was surprised to find that there was no one behind him. Fuck, where are the people? Ran away. Chapter 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were so angry that they had to face each other. Fuck, Wang Hongming couldn't help but curse. He really didn't expect that the guy who followed him would run away when he had already walked to building number 10. At this time, he was the only one left. I'll go back too. Wang Hongming looked at the entrance to the ground, and a trace of retreat emerged in his heart. After all, those people in building number 10 were more brutal than Deng Tu and the others. What are you afraid of? With Luo Tian diverting attention, I will definitely be fine, not to mention that I have come here. When Wang Hongming thought of the way Luo Tian sneered at him in the group, a surge of anger suddenly surged in his heart. He got out directly from the underground parking lot. Because the snow was very thick, he had to go to the third floor and climb in through the window in the corridor. What are you doing? Fuck, there's an intruder. Catch him. Wang Hongming didn't expect that he would be discovered by several men who were coming towards him as soon as he climbed into the corridor through the window. Those men were holding baseball bats, buckets, etc. They seemed to want to dig snow. Stop it, I'm not an intruder. Wang Hongming was hit by several punches as soon as he came up, and fell to the ground holding his head and wailing. I'm here to find your boss, I have important news to tell him. Hearing a plea for mercy, several men with fierce faces put down their raised baseball bats. Who are you and you're looking for our boss, are you worthy? Zhou Yunkuan pointed at his head with a baseball bat with disdain. This guy was too suspicious. He climbed in from the third floor without making any noise. It was hard not to make them suspect his true purpose. After all, they had robbed many people from other buildings in the past few days. Brothers, listen to me. There is a guy named Luo Tian in our building. He has a lot of food stored at home. You will definitely be interested. Wang Hongming said flatteringly. He was hit on the head with 2 sticks, which made him see stars, and the pain also aroused the fear in his heart. At this time, Wang Hongming looked at the fierce-looking men beside him, and his brain filled with hatred also woke up. Suddenly he regretted it a little. Who is Luo Tian? He has a lot of food at home. It's none of our business. Zhou Yunkuan weighed the baseball bat and looked at him with squinted eyes. Recently, under the leadership of Zhuo Wentao, they have robbed a huge amount of supplies. They even look down on the wealth of ordinary residents. Hey, big brother, you will understand after you look at these pictures. Wang Hongming quickly took out his mobile phone from his pocket, frantically flipped through the pictures sent by Luo Tian in the group, and handed them to the other party. Zhou Yunkuan originally looked disdainful, but after a casual glance, he was stunned, his eyes widened. Fuck, so many hairy crabs. And lobsters. Roast chicken. What the hell? Now it's an extremely cold blizzard of -70 degrees. Where did that guy get these fucking delicacies that make people want to bite their tongues? Zhou Yunkuan originally thought that the instant noodles, dried meat, and even delicious canned luncheon meat that he and his people had snatched in the past few days were already the top delicacies in the community. There should be no other residents who can be more arrogant than their brother Zhuo. But this Luo Tian, who pretended to be so good in the owner group, directly blinded his eyes. Tired of eating barbecue, ready to try seafood, who cares about garbage instant noodles? Fuck. Zhou Yunkuan hit the wall with a stick, and Wang Hongming shuddered immediately. Brother Zhuo rewarded us with a few bags of instant noodles. We all wanted to immediately stick a knife in his ribs and offer our sincerity. This Jiba Luo Tian is so arrogant, as if instant noodles are shit in his eyes. Zhou Yunkuan cursed. His words immediately made several men around him curse. Damn, is Brother Yun's Luo Tian really so arrogant? Just listening to you, I want to blow his head off with a stick. Let me see what delicacies he eats. Several men spit out dirty words and also gathered around to look at the mobile phone screen. They were also stunned when they saw it. Slurped that I don't know who it is, but I couldn't help swallowing, the delicious hairy crabs and the golden roasted chicken, only, just look at them and make them salivate like crazy. Are you sure this isn't a picture from the internet? It's snowing so hard outside, and this guy still has these good things to eat. How can he enjoy himself like this? Damn it, I can't stand it. This guy eats 10 times, no, 100 times better than our Zhuo brother. Zhou Yunkuan gritted his teeth and said, at this moment, he made up his mind to report this matter to Zhuo Wentao, and then gather people to break into building number 9 and snatch all the food from the other party's house. And he had to teach the other party a lesson, let that Luo Tian know that you can't pretend to be some powerful people. As for whether the other party would resist, he never considered it at all. What a joke. We have more than 40 people in our hands. Let alone one person, they can even take down a building. I thought the 2 packs of beef jerky I stole from those 2 old guys' homes yesterday were the most precious food, but now I've changed my mind. This is simply an emperor's life, with fish and meat every day, and better than what I ate a month ago. I can't stand it, I can't stand it at all, I have to snatch these things. Several men said with greed on their faces, even their breathing became heavy, and they wanted to rush over with their weapons immediately. Hey, brothers, this Luo Tian's family not only has food, he also hoards a lot of beauties. Wang Hongming was relieved to see these people's greedy looks, he hurriedly continued to explain for them. Oh, beauties, Zhou Yunkuan couldn't help but sneered when he heard this. I'm not bragging. The beauties in our Zhuo brothers' family will make your eyes pop out when you see them. He said as if you have never seen the world. 2 of the car models from that exhibition have become our brother Zhuo's women. I fuck them every night and make them scream. That face and that ass, you can't imagine how exciting it is. In response to this, Wang Hongming said mysteriously, then, do you know the national goddess Baiya? Zhou Yunkuan and others couldn't help but hold their breath. Fuck, you don't mean to say that the big star is now in Luo Tian's house? A man said with saliva flying, obviously, he couldn't control his excitement, that's the national goddess who can dominate the hot search list on the internet every day. No matter whether it's men, women, old or young, they will succumb to her pomegranate skirt. That's right, the goddess Baiya is now in Luo Tian's house. Wang Hongming nodded heavily. This news is known to all the residents of our building number 9. Hearing this, Zhou Yunkuan grabbed his collar and said fiercely, let's go, follow me to see the boss immediately.